Almost 15 years ago, Mike and Jennifer Wendland turned their favorite pastime into a full time lifestyle and an enterprise. Now they're one of the leading voices in the North American RV community. That's recreational vehicle. They have covered more than 300,000 miles on the road, all the while documenting their journey on the RV Lifestyle blog, the YouTube channel, the podcast, newsletters, books for the RV travelers. That their books include RV Lifestyle, Your Comprehensive Guide to RV Living, the RV Living Recipe Book, RV Lifestyle Hacks. Mike's background as a journalist for outlets such as NBC News, the New York Times, and the Detroit Free Press, earning 18 Emmy Awards and other major honors for his reporting from around the world, and Jennifer's history as a health and fitness instructor with a specialty in water exercise contributes to their tales of adventure, connection, and intentional living on the open road in all forms. In addition to being the parents of 3 grown children, they're grandparents to 8, and mom and dad to their canine celebrity Norwegian elk hound called Bo. And we may even see him during this broadcast. Today, we're going to talk about RV living because what we do here is, where you live in retirement is one of the topics we cover on a mission to explore aging in a new era where we're living longer and healthier than ever before. When we're not talking about RV lifestyle and other places to live after retirement, we're exploring health, technology, memoir writing, relationships, finance and legal matters, and even pre-planning final arrangements. So stay tuned and sign up on our website to get notifications about what's coming down the pike. Go to www.decluttering55plus.com, hit the Let's Connect button, and sign up there. We're grateful that Mike and Jennifer agreed to make a stop on their latest road trip for at least the next 30 minutes to talk with us about the RV lifestyle. Some of you have only dreamed of hopping in a camper and taking off into the sunset. Others are part-time RVers. And there are those of you out there who have met Jennifer and Mike on the road at a campsite in the middle of America. Either way, let's see what we can learn and be inspired by in Mike and Jennifer's journey. Welcome, Mike and Jennifer.
Well, thank you for inviting us to join you. This is so exciting.
Yeah, great to be with you, Michelle.
Now, if I get it right, you're now on respite from the road. You're taking a break and you're up there in Michigan?
Well, yeah, we have some home in Southwest Michigan. We never got rid of our sticks and bricks home, as we RVers call them. But we kind of use this as a place. This is our studio where we come back and we'll spend maybe a week or 10 days writing, editing, getting our next batch of content out for our audience. Earlier this year, we spent about almost 2 months doing nothing but writing books because we do a series of travel guides. So this is it's work, but it's work in what we would call home now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of questions and all of that. So even though you're spending, what did you say, 3/4 of your time on the road, you're not retired?
No. I'm never going. What would I do, Michelle, if I retired? No, we've decluttered our life by getting rid of everything that took us away from doing what we wanted to do. And we are living our fullest life right now. I wish I could have done this back in my 20s, 30s, 40s, but I'm thrilled to do this. So we're anything but retired.
Okay, so how did you decide, though, to take the leap from your bricks and stickstone lifestyle to 3/4 of the time on the road?
Oh, it took him a couple years to talk me into getting on the road. He would take me to, I know a lot of people don't understand it, but a van. I said, we're going to live in a van. I don't think so.
A camper van.
A camper van.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he would take me to the camper van with our 70-pound dog, and we would sit inside it, and I'd say, no way. And then finally he wore me out, and I said, 1 year. You get 1 year, fella.
Yeah.
And then we fell in love with it.
What really started is I was in the media for 40 years, and Michelle, I looked you up and I saw you went to Newhouse School at Syracuse. It's a great school.
Did.
You were trained in what journalism really was. and it's
in the day when our
it
first
isn't
class
there
in
is
college was typewriting.
yes, yes. We start with typewriters back when you could smoke and people smoked in the newsroom. But anyway, there is no journalism anymore, and it changed so much. I literally walked out of a 4-year contract with in broadcasting, and I thought I was going to quote retire, um, but I wanted to decompress. I had much of my career been traveling, and I had been gone from home so long. I've been everywhere as a journalist, and Jennifer too, because she's been a producer as well.
Oh, okay.
But we would only go to places, and use them as backdrops for a story. We'd come in and, Mike Wendland, NBC News, Syracuse or wherever. And then we'd get on a plane or you'd go someplace else. And I never really had a chance. I saw all the country, but I never really got a chance to know the rest of the country. And so we were debating, we always knew we wanted to do something, but we wanted to just chill out and go back to some of those places that I had been and figure out what was next for us. We never saw this coming. We started blogging.
Were you somebody who camped as a kid?
Yeah, I didn't camp as a kid. I camped the first time I camped was with Jennifer.
Oh, okay. So it's
Years
not
ago
like
when our
you
kids
grew
were
up in a
little.
camping family. That's what you did on your summer vacations?
You did.
No, not really. We had borrowed a tent once.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I did not. Neither of us grew up in camping families, but we just have this, both of us, this desire to see the country and to travel and to see as much as we can. And I just feel we were so fortunate because we traveled to other continents, Africa and the Middle East, and we did a lot of work. And I love it. He loves it. I wore out the mailman because I would send as a kid, I'd send for brochures wherever I could get a free brochure about Yellowstone or someplace out west. And I had such a heart's desire to see this country.
So your impetus wasn't so much camping or RVing. Your impetus was to travel, and your camper was the vehicle to get you there.
Yeah.
So how do you distinguish between different types of vehicles? Like you say, camper. How is that different from other kinds of vehicles where you travel in?
Well, we've had every kind of RV available now. I should tell you that we did when we were first married. The first thing we bought for our family was a little pop-up trailer, and then we got a small travel trailer, and then we went to tents.
We went to tents when the kids grew up.
And then, so we did that early on. And then when 15 years ago, when I left broadcast, we decided, hey, let's not sleep in a tent. Let's get one of these camper
That
vans.
ground's kind of close to the ground.
But since then, we've had
As my
trailers.
father always used to say, why do you want to lay on the ground?
Yeah.
It gets harder to get up as you get older off that ground.
So we got bigger and bigger ones, and now we're in what's called a fifth wheel, which is 35 feet long. It's got a washer and dryer, a fireplace, and that's what we camp in now.
You're in a palace.
It is. We call it our condo on wheels. Yeah.
How do you decide which vehicle how do you decide what size vehicle to get?
Well, one of the things that we do as content creators in this niche is we review them all the time. So one desire we had was to know them all, to try and figure out the differences. So when people ask us questions, we say, oh, well, we've never camped in that. So we've camped in pretty much all of them and used them or driven them. But we kind of do it on what we want in it. And the one we have now, it just hits all of our needs. And that's not saying that will be our forever RV, but it's every time it seems to have gotten bigger, although we've hit that sweet spot, I think now, 35 feet.
So you're telling me someday we're going to be back in the tent again?
No more tents. No more tents. I promise.
No more tents. You've outgrown that, huh? So, how was it for you? Let's go back to the very beginning, before you graduated up to the palace of all RVs. Still, even in the palace of all RVs, you have to downsize. How did you manage to, eliminate everything in the garage and the attic and all the kitchen?
Well, we wanted to bring it all with us in the RV.
And we did our best to try to bring it all with us. But what I think really helped us is when we first started out, we were in a van. It was an RV, but it was a van. So there wasn't a lot of room. And so that teaches you real quick. what jacket can I use the most? You just have to cut things out, and everything has a place and it has to be put back in the place. You really have to think a lot, not to bring everything and not to buy everything that you see along the way.
And then you have to also balance out each other, because suddenly, instead of having a house or me going off to work for one day or Jennifer off teaching classes all day where we only saw each other in the evening, we're with each other 24/7
And
in a
his,
little van.
and his favorite little clip that he did was me looking at him and saying, "I need some space with you not in it."
I remember that well.
He had to post that everywhere
I
so that
did.
all of our friends could say, "Ooh."
That's exactly what she said. What I mean, we're trying to get past each other in this little van.
How did you manage that? How did you manage your relationship in a small space differently than the way you managed yourself in a home?
You have to have your space. Like, he could get up and he gets up before me, read, do things outside. We called our little van a small space with a big yard.
Yeah.
So you go outside, you got to give space. And I'm a little bit of a grump in the morning. I need quiet. I need a little space. So,
So you're
he
happy
doesn't
to
want
get
to
up
live
out
with
the
an ugly
door,
bear, even though
go
two
take
out of
a
our
hike,
8
and go
grandkids,
take a hike?
yeah, two out of our great grandkids were afraid of me because he told them I was an ugly bear.
Angry
and
bear
they
in the
bought an
morning.
angry bear. And so two of them were afraid of me. And I thought,
I said, you trying to wake
Then
her up
when
in
I
the morning.
found
She's an
out
angry bear.
that
She
he's
is.
turning the grandkids against me.
But that learning how to get along with each other, and because each of us are, we're one person. We've been married forever. We've well over 50 years, but we were
Wow.
high school sweethearts, and
Wow.
so we're best friends too. But we both do need our space, and we're two different people, and you have to kind of realize that what's fulfilling for me all the time might not be on Jen's top of her bucket list, and same things. I learned real quick, she has to exercise every day, and she likes a gym rather than climbing mountains. She'll climb a mountain, but a gym is where she likes to be. So I always have to find a gym wherever we are.
Yeah,
Well,
I worked in a gym for 20.
that brings me to the point. How do you decide where you're going to go next and where you're going to stay, and how do you find that gym?
Well, it's we belong to a national chain. There's a whole bunch of them, and that's the first thing that you do. When you're in a little camper van, you like it because they have a really nice shower at that gym, and you can use unlimited hot water.
There's a point.
But we belong to it's Anytime Fitness. They're everywhere, but there's also Planet Fitness, and so you can go from town to town, and they all have one. So it's rare that you don't find one. And so that's one of the first things I do when we get someplace is I look it up and I say, and we may not go every day, but every other day or every third day.
Every third day, or I turn into a bear.
An angry bear. See, I told you. Yeah.
So the grandkids aren't listening.
Yeah. So we'll do that, but we decide where we want to go.
I'm going to go from Michigan to Iowa today, or from Iowa to Denver. How do you decide your route?
Well, the first thing we do is we have a rule. We have a rule about how far we travel, how long we travel.
We learned 330 miles a day, or stop at 3:30 in the afternoon, so you can get to your spot, unwind a little bit. Nothing worse than trying to park an RV when it's dark outside and unfamiliar terrain. It's a courting disaster.
And that's also, as you age, travel can be really strenuous, especially when you're towing like a 35-foot 15,000-pound thing behind you. So we've come to really appreciate it. Now, the first few years, man, I'll go 700 miles a day.
I got vertigo once.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
I mean, it was.
What do you mean you got to go to the bathroom? We can't stop now. But so we've learned that, and then we try and follow that. And when we plan it, okay, what's 330 miles? Where's a town that we want to see? And we've also learned
you make the plans off the cuff, or you sit down when you're here at home for a few minutes and say, this is what we're going to do over the next 6 months. How do you?
Oh gosh, that's way too organized for us.
Yeah, we kind of have a general idea of where we're going. And then I will read on the computer, or I'll pick up brochures if we stop for gas, and I'll look and I'll say, oh, popcorn festival. That could really be fun. The Jello Museum. That sounds interesting.
Yellow
I mean,
Museum?
others will want to learn
The
about
Jello,
that.
we just find there's so many fascinating things, and we try and take back roads if we can. It's hard
Mm.
oftentimes, but that's what we'll do. Like the Jello Museum was a little. We were just driving and we saw a sign, Jello Museum, 20 miles. What the heck is a Jello Museum? It was
Probably
fascinating. It was the
somewhere where
history
the
of
Jello
Jello.
maker has their factory, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was where it started up in upstate New York, and then we were in the middle of Nebraska, and we saw a sign, or we saw it in a little diner, I think it
Little
was,
brochure.
little brochure, popcorn festival, and hey, it's this week. I happen to
That was
love
an
popcorn.
awesome story.
So we
Yeah,
drove
let's hear it.
hour and a half off the road we thought we were going to go, and found this little town in the hill country of Nebraska, the Sand Hills area they call it. That they grow a huge hunk. It's like the popcorn capital of the country, of the world, really.
In
And we
Nebraska.
learned all about popcorn. But the best part is they gave you as much popcorn as you wanted at any place. And we had a ball. Where do we spend the night? We just asked we went to the police station. Hey, where can we spend the night? They said, well, stay in that park. We'll take care of you. No problem. And we just spent the night in the RV in the park. And that was still one of our favorite stops in 15 years. And
Is that right?
the ability of, when you talk about decluttering and not having to do certain stuff and doing what you want to do, the ability to travel serendipitously, when you see something like that, to stop and find it. That's what we love about this lifestyle. So we don't overplan, because we just know from experience now we're going to find something that's going to cause us to deviate that route. We hate to get reservations because
Do you Google like what festivals are going on near here, or what do you Google?
sometimes we'll do that. But if I was going to Iowa, I would figure I would probably stop. If I left here in Southwest Michigan, I would probably stop someplace around the Quad Cities area where the Mississippi divides up Iowa and
what did we
Illinois.
find there? The man who made canoes. He
We
retired.
found a guy there. One of our stories was a former hospital CEO who quit his job, big paying job, lots of stress. And he decided he wanted to declutter his life by doing what he wanted to do. And he's made handcrafted wooden canoes. He took me out on the Mississippi River in a canoe.
That he made.
And it was fabulous. And what a great story that was for us. And so you find those stories if you stop.
My plumber became a classic pianist, so anything is possible in your retirement.
Oh, it is. It's.
I mean, you've got to have the ability, talking about decluttering, to stop, because so much of your life is you got to go from here to there, and you don't have any margins. So we got margins.
We've learned, to
How
give
long
ourselves.
How long do you usually stop for, or is that up in the air as well?
It depends. We're tending these days to probably try and stay places a little longer, because I think there's very few places that we've spent the night that we haven't said, boy, I wish I could stay another day or so, because we didn't go see this, or we just didn't sit around and relax a little bit and look at those mountains or whatever it was. So we tend to stay a couple, 3 at least nights, longer sometimes, but there's so many people RVing that you have to be a little more attentive to getting reservations at certain key spots. You have to be, but there's other places that will now let you stay at wineries and farms and attractions, businesses. And we stayed one night in New Mexico on an alpaca farm, and the woman let us out in the middle of these alpacas. And in fact, I'm looking at a picture of us around all these alpacas, and they all came over and we were feeding her alpacas. We hand-fed alligators, and a year ago, hand-fed bison. If you just stop and look around and ask people.
Got to hold a little baby alligator.
Yeah.
Are you writing a memoir as you go? Do you keep a diary of all of this?
You probably should have.
Well, I write at least one post every day on our blog. I write. We have a private community that we also have of other people, and I share stuff there all the time, and then we do live stream videos and YouTube videos and 2 podcasts a week. So we kind of just tell that's another big factor. I'm deep inside of me. I am a writer and a storyteller, and
it's in his DNA.
and it's in yours now.
I think,
Yeah,
I
it's even
always
more of
love
yours.
the adventure.
And
I love it. And
we
I
Really,
like sharing
you
with
can turn
others.
your blogs into a memoir. If somebody wants to read your blogs or see um, uh, your podcasts, tell them where they can go to
it's
share your adventure. Even if they could be an armchair traveler, let you do
there's a
the
lot of them. We have people all the time say, "Hey, we don't even own our RV, but we follow." It's rvlifestyle.com, and
That's simple,
it's kind of
straightforward.
like our entry point. We have all sorts of ways we share content, but uh, I've often thought of people say, "Well, why don't you write a memoir of all your reporting days?" My job as a reporter, I was an investigative reporter, and I've covered popes and presidents and everywhere,
The mob,
wars, the mob,
drugs.
and so now we're doing this stuff, which it
Do you
used
ever
to be
see an
nobody
end?
was
Do
happy
you
to
ever
see
see
us.
an end to this chapter of your life?
Do I what?
Do you ever see an end to the traveling part of your life?
There will be someday. I mean, age is a number, yes, but it also does, health changes, and someday we'll come in off the road. But I think we got a lot of road yet ahead of us because we just get so excited about stuff. I mean, last year we
You go
traced
to
the
the gym
Mississippi.
everywhere you go, so you're going to
Go to a
stay.
gym. I mean, like last year we traced the Mississippi River from where you could literally walk across it up in Minnesota all the way down to where it emptied in the Gulf of Mexico. We spent, I think 34 stops doing that. And that was just so much fun.
What's
And
the community of other RVers like? I hear that they have a pretty big community. What's your experience?
well, ours is it's a huge community, and particularly in the over 55 group. That's still the largest demographic on it. Um, and so there's a whole bunch of them out there who, they're looking for a couple of things. One, they're looking for fun, and they're looking for friends, and they're looking for adventure. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, to try and make the second half of everybody, of all the RVers that we service, to make the second half of their life as fulfilling as possible. And I don't want to give the impression that we are disconnected from our kids and grandkids, because we're not. We moved here to Southwest Michigan just so we can be near our grandkids, who are just a cornfield across from us. And with technology, we're able
Where
to
did
stay
you
in
move
touch with them
from,
all.
Mike?
What's that?
Where did you move from?
The Detroit area.
Oh,
Oh,
We
okay.
lived in the metropolitan Detroit area for 50 years.
and we literally moved across it. This is all Michigan people say. This is Michigan. We lived in the Detroit area, and we moved over to this side with Lake Michigan over that way.
Another part of the world.
Yes, it is. It is.
I miss the amenities of the big city some.
Well, what are the downsides of RVing, would you say?
Getting used to the lack of space. It can be good, but some days not as good as others. A lot of togetherness. Some days are better than others. And I think honoring each other's heart's desire. I mean, you have a heart's desire for this, and I have a heart's desire for that, and have, give and take. That's what marriage is.
And then I think another big thing is what we've called decision fatigue,
Oh, yeah.
because every place is a new place. So, okay, where's the pharmacy? Where's the supermarket?
Right.
Where are we going to stay? Is there good internet so that I can work and get our signal out to everybody?
And sometimes out west, where gas stations are few and far between, and you need diesel, and there isn't any diesel. And
Yeah.
So how
So-
about medical care? How do you handle that?
healthcare.
Healthcare is I'm part of one of my other fascinations is technology, and fortunately medical records are all online. We all have a patient portal somewhere. Those are invaluable, and I would urge anybody
Do you do telehealth with your doctors in Michigan, or do you find doctors wherever you go? How do you come back for your regular checkups?
Oh, yeah.
How do you manage your health
we
care?
have a routine. We come back, usually right just around before Thanksgiving, and we do all of our annual checkups from Thanksgiving to the New Year,
Mhm.
because that's really not the best time to travel. And then medications, pharmacy chains, you can get anything you need with that, guys. And then you've been
I've
hospitalized
been
twice.
hospitalized
Yeah.
in Red Lodge,
Red Lodge,
Montana, a
Montana.
10-bed hospital with pneumonia, and I'm still here. It
Yeah.
all worked out well. And dental problems, calling my
It's one
dentist.
viewpoint of a place to travel.
Yeah.
You can find healthcare. I mean, if you sat home and worried about what might happen, you wouldn't do anything.
You wouldn't do anything.
So
And
get
so many
out there.
people are so afraid.
So what are your, before we close our conversation, which seemed to have gone by very quickly, I think I could talk all day with you guys about your many, many adventures, but I'm going to have to visit your rvlifestyle.com website regularly to get the vicarious thrill of the long and winding road. But what are the words of wisdom you would get to anybody who's thinking about becoming an RVer?
Uh, I would tell them to get out a tape measure and go from 0 and then find your age on it. Say it's 60. And just hold a 60-inch mark. And then I'd ask them, how long do you think you're going to live? And say they say 90. Then I would just show you there's only that much room. So then I would say, how much of that time before you're going to die do you think you'll be in good health? And then they might back it up to say 85. I say, that's not a lot of time. Do it now. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, except regret that you didn't start today, to live out your dreams. Now, there are people who really can't do it because they're sick and they're feeble or, whatever reason. But, if this is your dream to travel and see the country, do it. You can always say, well, it didn't work out, and come back and do whatever you want.
So we often
So
tell
you
people,
I understand you can even rent an RV rather than jump in and buy one and try
That's
it
her
out.
advice. Yeah.
Like Mike said, seize the day. That's basically what you're saying. So
Yeah.
if you want to hear more from Mike and Jennifer about RVing and what their experiences are and what this lifestyle might offer to you, check out their website at www.rvlifestyle.com. You can find them on YouTube and podcast platforms as well. So if you've never thought of being an RVer, maybe the time is now to give it a try. That's what you're saying, Mike. So
Absolutely.
let us know if you're thinking about it and why, or if you are an RVer. Share with us your ups and downs. Go to our website at www.decluttering55plus.com and leave your remarks, stories, and even questions. And I'll pass them along to Mike and Jennifer. And then sign up on the Let's Connect button to receive notifications about what we're doing over here at Decluttering 55 Plus and what's coming up on the podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, and whatever they do on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Let us build this community together. If you haven't gotten a copy of my illustrated spiral book called Decluttering 55 Plus Wisdoms to Create a Legacy, Not a Mess, buy one for yourself, a couple for your friends, and don't forget your family members, all who can use some inspiration to take the initiative in all aspects of their lives to get in action and get things done. You can buy copies on Amazon.com and layitflat.com. I want to thank you again for joining us today, Jennifer and Mike, and for taking the time from being on the road to share those magnificent moments and not so magnificent moments as you RV around the country. We will be back next week with another episode of Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Passoff. So between now and then, be sure to make it a clutter-free day. Thank you for being here.